Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Welcome back to Raising Ummah. Today, inshallah, I'm going to be sharing with you how we've been doing social studies the past 2 or 3 years, actually. So that's the reason why I'm sharing it with you, because we've been trying it over time, and it's one of our favorite ways to do social studies. We do it as a family. So I have found this treasure. It is teaching U.S. history through children's literature, and for those of you who know me, I love Charlotte Mason method. I'm eclectic, but I use Charlotte Mason method a lot in my homeschooling, where I base all of our education on a lot of reading. I found this book because I always search for ways to teach a subject through literature. So I came across this. This is U.S. history through children's literature. So the first one is from the colonial period to World War II, and the second one is post-World War II, and it goes all the way to the first Persian War. Unfortunately, I couldn't find anything after that, but I'm still looking, inshallah, and I will let you know if I do find something that goes beyond this this period of time. Anyway, so the way it goes is this quarter we are doing the Vietnam War phase. We choose together as a family. We go through the index, and they divided the history, the U.S. history, to eras or time period. So this is the second book. It starts with the Korean War, civil rights movement, the women's rights movement, space exploration, the Vietnam War, multicultural heritage, the Persian Gulf War, and then other stuff, and that's it. Now, how it goes, we sit as a family and we decide which era they're interested in, and then here in the beginning of each chapter, they give us or tell the teacher how to introduce the time period to the children or to the students. So I read it out loud to them, and we discuss, and I let them, each one of them, first read a little bit or find a video about this time period, as a short video, just to know which era or which time period we're going to be talking about. So this is the introduction. So for this one, it talked a little bit about the Vietnam, and then what led to the Vietnam War, and then after that, that's the cool period, the cool thing. So it recommends different historical fiction books, and some of them are actually not fiction. Some of them are non-fiction, like autobiography or biographies of real stories, but mostly it's historical fiction. So it recommends one for whole group reading. So this is the teacher reading it out loud. And then talks about the author, activities, so questions about the book, discussion questions, and then it even gives vocabulary and definition of vocabulary in the book. And then it recommends multiple books for small group reading. Now, for our purpose, this is for school. Like the teacher would read a book and then divide the class into smaller groups, and each group will have a book to read on their own. For our purpose, we don't really, we read all, they give you a very, very, I forgot to say this, a very brief description of what the book is about. Like, kind of a teaser or just a very short summary of what the book is about. So, and that's what we base our choices on. So we read all the description, and each one of them chooses a book, and I choose a book to read aloud to them. And then what they did the past years, each one of them would present the time era in their own, or the time period in their own way. Sometimes through drawings. They draw things they learned about the time era from the book. So the book, even though it's fictional, they learned what these people dressed during that time, how they talk, how they behave, the social interaction between people, and main events. We did the Native Americans, we did immigration period, different time periods, and it was really interesting when we got together at the end and we highlighted the main events, the main the special things that happened during this time period. This has been one of our favorite ways, if not the only way, that my kids liked and I liked, we both liked how to do social studies. For Vietnam War, for example, for this time period, though, they chose that to work together. They're all going to work together to cover this time period. So I asked them to do a presentation, a PowerPoint presentation. They love, most of the time, that's what they choose anyway. They do a PowerPoint presentation about the time period and what they learned on their own, whether it's a documentary, videos, articles, and of course, I always stress not just using videos because that's the number one get to when they do research. So I try to tell them you have to have a variety of resources. So videos, articles, books from the library, books from our library, in addition to their historical fiction book. And we get together and each one shares what they learned, and we share as a family from the book that we read what we learned about. So for Vietnam War, for example, this is what they choose, and they like the summary. And another one chose this, the Purple Heart, and this is another one, and then this is the family read aloud. Now for the small ones, they dig in with us and they sit with us, they listen, and then we watch a documentary, so they would know something called Vietnam War. I'm sure I'm not expecting them to know more than that, but there's a war the Americans didn't want to go to, but they did, and it was a bad decision. That's my 7-year-old would know that. That's it. And I'm happy with that till later. She can dig into it later if she wants. If she's more interested, I would get her a book and read it to her, a picture book. There's actually a few picture books, and that's a good thing about it. Like at the end, there is a big list of more readings if interested, and it comes with a summary about the book too. So we love this book. And then the good thing is at the end, they recommend a celebration, end of the unit celebration. So they recommend different activities, but mostly we try to come up with our own way of celebrating the time period. When we did the Indians, for example, they each dressed like the main character in their book, and they talked about the time period from the perspective of that main character and how it was like to that main character through that time period. It was really, really interesting. Another thing that I asked them to do this year is to use this wonderful, wonderful, wonderful book. This is from Lottery, and it's an Islamic, it's a history from an Islamic perspective. I will share their website, and I will do an individual separate review about these books. They have wonderful books about history from Islamic perspective. It's been a long way coming because I have been trying to find something like this for years, and alhamdulillah, I finally found it and I come across it, and I am planning on getting all their books, inshallah, if possible. But this book specifically is really interesting, the way they present it. History Intersections Edition. The way they introduce this is they get you, they discuss, they have on the side here, major world events. And they tell you in the Muslim world what was going on. So that is really interesting. So, for example, here it tells you like this this empire, the Mughal Empire, intersects with Elizabeth I to Napoleon. So if you are talking or you're doing a research about Queen Elizabeth I, and you want to know what was going on in the Muslim world or that part of the world, you come here, you find this, and you read all about what has been going on in the Muslim world during that time. So for us, for our purpose this time, this quarter or this time of the year, since we're doing the Vietnam War, we go to the 1960s. So it's, or 1950s rather, that's when it starts. So here, the Vietnam War starts 1954 and it ends 1973. So this is what was happening, mainly the Palestine and the Israeli conflict. So I asked them to have this as part of their presentation. So like you are touching upon so many things by doing one major project or one major topic or one major subject. So that is it. I was hoping to be short, and I think that's good enough. If you have any questions, please feel free to text me or chat with me or send me messages. Don't forget to like and visit our Facebook page, and I look forward to seeing all of you again in another video, inshallah. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.